Hello! Today we are talking about the case of Chris Jenkins. He went missing on Halloween night, and his disappearance gives speculation to a serial killer. Are you ready? This is Screams for You, and I'm V. So, turn down those lights and lock those doors. Here's a scream you can't ignore. So Chris Jenkins is 21 and he is super excited to go out this Halloween night because it's the first time that he's able to go to the bars and drink. So he goes out with his girlfriend and another couple. And they go to a place called the Lone Tree Bar and Grill. So they're there for quite a while, and then Chris gets kicked out. Now, there are all kinds of different accounts as to why. Some say that he got into an argument with his girlfriend. Some say that he was too drunk and the bouncer had to escort him out. The bouncer had to, escort him out. So there's a few contradictory stories about why he got kicked out of this bar. And that anybody sees him. The next day, nobody can find him, and his family, of course, call the police, and they say that they have to wait 72 hours before they can take a statement since he is over the age of 18. And his family didn't want to wait, so they went out searching for him themselves. Everywhere that they thought that he could have walked in or taken a path to try to get somewhere else, they were out looking. But there was no luck. They could not find him. And 4 months pass before his body is discovered in the Mississippi River. And it was wedged between 2 logs. And at first, the coroner and the police state that this was either an accident or that he had taken his own life. So there have been lots of reports of young men drowning in rivers from being too drunk and they accidentally fall in. And this has been going on for a while now. And they assume that this is no different. So the police, a couple weeks later, put out a statement apologizing for saying that his death was either a suicide or an accident, and they relist it as a murder, but they're not really telling anybody why. So with this information and the information that this has been happening to a lot of young men, speculation comes that it is a serial killer known as the smiley face killer, who gives his victims GHB and then drowns them in a river. And usually these young men have been at bars and are very drunk when they leave, and then they're not seen again, and they're found in a river with GHB in their system. Nobody's stating whether or not there is GHB in Chris's system. And pretty much a lot about the case is actually tight-lipped. They're not giving a lot of information as to why they believe that this is a homicide. And they're not stating whether or not there is GHB in his system. But there is something to note. So about a week later, a young man had a drink at the same bar and got extremely sick. And when the police were called to investigate, they did find GHB in his system. Now, he ended up not drowning or anything like that, but it is a very suspicious thing to note as we're talking about this, that this did happen at the same bar Jenkins had gone missing. So it was before his body was found. Now, lots of people think that the serial killer known as the smiley face killer is just a rumor or a myth and that he's not real. There are lots of people that believe that this is real and that he leaves a smiley face near where he killed his victims, but sometimes, they float down river. There have been smiley faces found by police under bridges and near crime scenes, but others think that this is just a coincidence and that these things are actually just graffiti of some kind of gang or someone who's just going around making smiley faces on all the bridges, I guess. What do I think? I think it's pretty suspicious that someone else complained about the GHB in their system. I think it's suspicious that lots of young men have been found with alcohol and GHB in their system and have been drowned in a river. And in many of these cases that there are smiley faces found nearby, but I'm also not a police officer and I'm not out there investigating these. So we just have to take their word for it and hope that this unknown serial killer known as a smiley face killer isn't real, and that Chris Jenkins, murderer, whoever it may be, gets caught and is served justice for what he has done. And that was our story for tonight, so don't forget, have a creepy night.